Hey everyone, Plays here. How's it going? Today you're in for a hilariously noob chase. Miles Morales versus Miles Morales. We'll swing through the action, then pause to unpack a bit of Plato. And remember, I usually play this game high as fuck. Jay, legalize please. So sit back, spark up your curiosity, and let's dive into this wild ride. Imagine waking up in a dimly lit cavern, the rough walls damp beneath your fingertips, and finding yourself chained so that you can only stare at shadows dancing across the stone. That's where our story begins, deep in the heart of Plato's famous cave, where prisoners mistake flickering silhouettes for reality itself. But today, you are not a prisoner. You have the chance to stand, turn around, and follow the light toward a world more vivid than any shadow play. In this journey, we'll walk alongside Plato, the ancient thinker who dared to ask, what is real and how do we know? From the very start, Plato saw the everyday world as a kind of shadow theater. He believed that the tangible objects we touch, trees, rivers, mountains, are mere reflections of perfect, unchanging forms or ideas that exist beyond our senses. Picture the perfect circle. No matter how many circular objects you draw in sand or carve in wood, they'll always fall short. The form of the circle in Plato's vision lives in a higher realm of pure being, untouched by decay, distortion, or doubt. But how do we glimpse these perfect forms? Through a process Plato likened to education, not the mere piling on of facts, but the gradual turning of the soul from darkness to light. Think of a student in his academy, listening as Socrates leads him through questions that peel away assumptions, layer by layer. It's uncomfortable, like ripping off an old, comforting bandage, but liberating too. Suddenly, what felt solid can be examined, questioned, and understood more deeply. And then there's the philosopher king, the bold idea that those best equipped to rule are not those with the loudest voices or the richest coffers, but those who have seen the forms and who wield that vision for the good of all. Imagine a ruler who governs not out of fear or self-interest, but out of love for truth and justice, the kind of leadership that balances the head and the heart, logic and compassion. Sounds almost utopian, yet Plato insisted it was the only path to a harmonious society. Plato also gave shape to the human soul. He divided it into three parts: the logical, the spirited, and the appetitive. It's easy to see these in yourself. The part that reasons through a tough decision, the part that rises up in righteous indignation, and the part that craves comfort or pleasure. For Plato, a well-ordered soul mirrors a well-ordered city, each part doing its proper work, guided by wisdom. When reason leads, spirit enforces, and appetite follows, you find inner peace. Love, too, figured prominently in his thought. But not just the flowers and candy variety. Plato's concept of platonic love springs from a deeper longing, an ascent from admiration of a beautiful body to a love of beauty itself. First, you might admire someone's laughter or kindness. Then you begin to appreciate acts of virtue, honesty, courage, generosity, until you find yourself pursuing the beauty of the soul. In that pursuit, ordinary affection becomes a rocket fueled by wonder, curiosity, and a craving for truth. Yet Plato never ignored the messiness of politics. His dialogues wrestle with the question of how to build a just city when people fear change or cling to their interests. He challenges us to ask, should we ever let lies or half-truths guide us if they maintain order? What if those lies keep us comfortable but blind us to larger injustices? Today, in our world of 24-hour news cycles and viral tweets, these questions still sting. We might see them in a democracy that touts freedom but tolerates hate speech, or in a corporation that champions sustainability while pursuing profit at any cost. Perhaps the most provocative aspect of Plato's vision is his faith in education as liberation. He didn't see learning as a chore, he saw it as the very essence of freedom. Knowledge for Plato wasn't about memorizing dates or formulas, it was about awakening to the structure of reality itself. When we learn to ask why instead of what, we step out of the cave and into the sunlight. So what does this mean for you today? It means treating every assumption as a hypothesis, every comfortable belief as an invitation to explore. It means holding your convictions lightly, ready to refine them when new evidence appears. It means seeking communities that value truth over tribalism, curiosity over comfort. And sometimes it simply means daring to question, is that shadow on the wall the whole story or just part of it? In Plato's world, philosophy wasn't an ivory tower hobby. It was the fire that kindles the soul, a compass guiding us through life's twists and turns. When you next encounter a stubborn opinion or a social norm that feels off balance, channel your inner philosopher. Ask yourself, where does this idea come from? What deeper truth might it be hiding? And how can I bring more light into the darkness? By the end of our journey, you'll find yourself transformed, not by a sudden bolt of inspiration, but by the steady glow of questions that keep flickering long after you leave the cave. That glow, that relentless curiosity, that is Plato's legacy. It doesn't demand that you accept every word he wrote. It challenges you to write your own. And in that challenge lies the true adventure of philosophy. Imagine Plato stepping onto a busy urban sidewalk, smartphone in hand, ready to live stream his take on reality and illusion, warning that our social media feeds cast shadows on our sense of truth just as the prisoners in his famous cave mistook silhouettes for reality. He'd call Instagram Cave 2.0, where algorithm-driven echoes of approval and outrage keep us chained to flickering images, and he'd urge us to question every headline before accepting it as knowledge. Instead of gathering students under olive trees in Athens, Plato would host virtual Socratic seminars in a digital grove on Zoom or in the metaverse, guiding thousands through dialectical questioning so they could turn their souls from mere opinion toward genuine understanding. He'd remind us that true knowledge cannot come through uncritical scrolling or passive consumption, just as in his Republic he showed that sense experience alone can never grasp the eternal forms. Every morning, he might live stream a form of the day, inviting followers to reflect on beauty, justice, or the good rather than chase likes or followers. As a modern philosopher king, he would launch a podcast called The Republic Reloaded, featuring fact-checkers and citizen callers to model governance grounded in evidence rather than spin. He'd critique viral political rants as echo chambers of unexamined passion and propose digital councils of learned citizens to draft policy in the open. Within each of us, he'd see the same tripartite soul he described: reason craving truth, spirit urging courage, and appetite seeking comfort. And he'd coach us through mindfulness exercises to keep these elements in balance, warning that endless notifications fragment our inner harmony. On dating apps, he'd code a ladder of love filter that elevates connections from simple attraction to a shared admiration of virtue, teaching that the highest form of love guides us toward genuine beauty and wisdom. He would explain that what begins as physical admiration can become an ascent toward the pure form of beauty itself, a process he first mapped in the symposium centuries ago. Whenever someone claimed that an image or headline felt true, he'd remind them of the cave's shadows, insisting that only through critical dialogue can we free ourselves from collective illusion. In webinars on ethics, he'd retell the myth of air to illustrate how choices echo across lifetimes, urging listeners to live justly and take responsibility for society's soul. His final challenge, broadcast across platforms, would be simple. Are you chasing shadows on a wall or stepping into the light of reason? An invitation to begin your own philosophical journey and discover what lies beyond every flicker on a screen.